The van life dream didn't die. It got sold back to you at a 40% markup. Van life used to be an escape from the system. Now it's one of the most efficient ways the system sells you back a lifestyle. And most people watching this right now think they're being careful. They're researching, they're watching videos, they're comparing models. They're not being careful. They're being primed. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what's changed, what's gotten structurally worse, and the specific decisions that are separating smart buyers from people who will regret this purchase inside 18 months. If you're researching a campervan, a motorhome, or a conversion right now, watch this before you spend a single dollar. Part 1. The Price Trap. Here's the number that ends most van life plans before they begin. In 2019, a professionally converted Mercedes Sprinter, ready to live in, ran between $45,000 and $65,000. That same van, comparable build quality, is now listed between $80,000 and $120,000. Some builders are pushing $150,000 for a 144-inch wheelbase with a fixed bed and a shower the size of a phone booth. That's not inflation, that's demand exploitation. And here's where it gets worse. The conversion quality did not scale with the price. What scaled was the aesthetic, the white oak cabinetry, the LED strips, the overhead shot ready for Instagram. Builders figured out that buyers will pay for how a van looks in photos faster than they'll pay for how it holds up in 3 years. Now this is the part nobody calculates. You're looking at a $95,000 Sprinter conversion and you're seeing gorgeous. What you should be seeing is, what's behind that shiplap? What BMS is running that lithium bank? Did they treat the floor for thermal bridging before they dropped vinyl over it? In 2019, a high sticker price was a loose proxy for quality. In 2026, it's a proxy for marketing budget. That's a completely different thing, and confusing the two will cost you $30,000 more than it would have 5 years ago. The price went up, the scrutiny requirement went up faster. Part 2. The Manufacturer Problem. You'd think that with this level of demand, the major OEMs, Winnebago, Thor, Airstream, Hymer, Deathlifts, would be producing better product, more refined, more reliable. They're not, and here's why that matters specifically for your purchase. What happened instead, manufacturers scaled production to meet pandemic-era demand, cut quality control to hit delivery windows, and pushed models out the door with known issues they planned to address in the next model year. Except, the next model year had different problems. In 2019, a breakdown meant a repair. In 2026, it means software diagnostics, dealer backlogs, proprietary sensors, and sometimes weeks of downtime, in a vehicle that's also your home. That's not a minor upgrade in inconvenience, that's a category shift in risk. If you ignore anything else in this video, don't ignore this. The Ford Transit platform is genuinely excellent, one of the most reliable, parts-accessible, mechanic-familiar base vehicles in North America. But what some conversion manufacturers did with that platform between 2021 and 2024 is a separate story. Electrical systems undersized for real-world usage, roof vents positioned in ways that compromise structural integrity over time, tanks plumbed with fittings that vibration loosen on highway driving. Here's where people get trapped. These aren't dramatic failures, that's the problem. They're slow degradation issues that don't surface in a 30-minute test drive or a 2-week maiden voyage. They show up at month 14, when you're 800 miles from home and something stops working that shouldn't. The European market isn't clean either. The AdBlue and DPF complexity on diesel-based motorhomes has created a maintenance burden nobody's being honest about with buyers. A Fiat Ducato-based van sitting idle for 2 months, a completely normal usage pattern for part-time van lifers, will develop DPF issues costing 800 to 2,000 euros to resolve. That's not a worst-case scenario. That's Tuesday for a lot of current owners. New doesn't mean better. In today's market, new sometimes means you're the beta tester, and beta testers don't get a discount. They pay full price. Part 3. The Content Problem. This is the section that's going to upset some people. Good. The van life content ecosystem, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, has a structural conflict of interest that is directly harming your ability to make a smart buying decision.
Here's exactly how it works. A creator buys or gets gifted access to a van. They document it. The channel grows because van life content performs well algorithmically. Then a builder, conversion company, or accessories brand approaches them for a sponsorship. Now they have a financial relationship with the exact product they're supposed to be evaluating objectively. That's not a conspiracy, that's just creator economics, but you need to understand it when you're watching a 20-minute video about why some $110,000 Sprinter build is totally worth it. Now here's the part that cuts deeper. It's not just the sponsorships, it's the selection bias in what gets covered at all. Nobody makes a viral video about the van they returned. Nobody posts the follow-up about the electrical system that failed at month 10. The content that performs is aspirational, and aspirational content is structurally incapable of telling you what you actually need before a major purchase, which is an honest accounting of failure modes. Most people watching van life content think they're doing research. They're not. They're being emotionally qualified as a buyer. Smart buyers treat van life content as inspiration, not purchasing intelligence. Those are completely different activities. One tells you what's possible, the other tells you what's probable. And here's the line that almost nobody in this space will say out loud. The people who lose money on van life are not careless. They're misinformed by content that was designed to make them feel something rather than decide something.
Part 4. The Lifestyle Inflation Trap. Let's talk about the number the van life community almost never discusses honestly. What this actually costs per month in 2026. The original pitch, and it was always partly mythological, was that van life was freedom from financial burden. No rent, no mortgage, just the road. Now this is the part most people skip entirely. Campsite fees, using a realistic mix of state parks, private campgrounds, and occasional RV parks, $400 to $900 per month. Free camping exists, but if you're relying on it entirely, you are spending significant time managing logistics most people never count as a cost. Your time is a cost. Fuel on a Sprinter or Transit build at current prices, realistic fuel economy, 18 to 22 mpg under optimal conditions, less with mountain driving in a loaded build, runs $300 to $600 per month if you're moving regularly. Maintenance, averaged over a year, budget $150 to $300 per month. Not because something breaks every month, because when something breaks on a live-in van, it's always urgent, always expensive, and always worse than it would be on a vehicle you just drive. Add food, connectivity, and insurance, a separate and increasingly expensive category for live-aboard vehicles, and you're at $2,000 to $3,500 per month for a solo person doing this properly. A couple, $2,800 to $4,500. Expected, van life is cheaper than rent. Reality, it's comparable to renting in most mid-tier American cities, and not cheaper than renting across most of Europe. The math that made van life a financial escape in 2017 does not hold in 2026. The lifestyle inflated. The pitch never updated. Part 5. The controversial insight. Here it is, the thing nobody in this space wants to say. The van life community, the organized, hashtag-driven, merch-buying, conference-attending version of it, has become one of the most effective product marketing ecosystems on the internet. It doesn't look like marketing because it's wrapped in the language of anti-consumerism, minimalism, freedom, rejecting the system. But scroll through the van life hashtag and count the affiliate links. Count the use code VANLIFE for 10% off on solar panels, mattresses, portable showers, and lithium battery systems. Count the sponsored posts that never clearly identify themselves as sponsored posts. The community, at scale, is a distribution channel, and the products moving through it are not the best products for your build. They're the products with the best affiliate commission structures. The jackery or eco-flow that every van life creator is showing you, not a bad product, but is it the right product for a full-time build running a compressor fridge, a CPAP machine, and charging devices continuously for 365 days? Probably not.
Victron-based systems with proper BMS integration are harder to film and don't have a consumer-facing affiliate program, so you don't see them in the content. And here's where it gets structurally worse. This isn't a correctable bias, it's permanent. The better a product performs over time in real full-time use, the less content it generates, because it just works, and working quietly doesn't make videos. The products that fail interestingly, get replaced visibly, and generate upgrade content, those products get coverage. You are not watching an industry, you're watching an incentive structure. Buy based on engineering requirements, not based on what has the most YouTube tutorials. Now, because this channel exists to help you make better decisions, not just feel worse about ones you haven't made yet, here's what's actually still working. The platform play is still correct. Buying a high-quality base vehicle, a Mercedes Sprinter, a Ford Transit, a Volkswagen Crafter in Europe, and treating it as infrastructure, not lifestyle hardware, still makes financial sense if you approach it right. You're buying a proven drivetrain with real parts availability and a residual value floor that custom conversions don't have. Expected, buy a premium conversion and you've bought a premium asset. Reality, you've bought a depreciating vehicle with a custom interior that the market reprices immediately and dramatically the moment you drive off the lot. What's changed is the build strategy. In 2019, a mid-tier conversion held together reasonably well at $30,000. Today, for a full-time build, you need either a professional conversion from a builder with a transparent, verifiable track record and real warranty accountability, not marketing language warranty, real repair turnaround, or you need enough knowledge to make informed decisions about your own electrical system, insulation, and water system. The middle option, buying the cheapest new manufactured campervan because the price felt like a deal, is where most financial regrets currently lives. Used is underrated right now. A 2018 or 2019 Sprinter conversion from a quality builder bought at post-pandemic price correction can be genuinely excellent value. The depreciation already happened. The initial owner absorbed the teething problems. You can evaluate it with actual usage history instead of a builder's spec sheet. Europe buyers, the Fiat, Ducato, and Transit-based market has deep used inventory right now. Heimer and Deathlifts models from 2017 to 2020 represent arguably the best value per livability ratio available. The DPF issue is real, but manageable if you go in knowing it. Buy with eyes open. Now, who should do this and who should walk away? Let me be direct. Van life still makes sense for retired couples or solo retirees with genuine schedule flexibility, no parallel fixed home costs, a realistic maintenance budget, and a clear usage pattern. 3 to 6 months of travel per year, home base the rest. The value equation works at that rate. The vehicle earns its cost. It makes sense for remote workers with genuinely stable income who have done the actual monthly math and can absorb a $2,500 unexpected repair without it derailing their life. Not people who think they can, people who have verified they can. It makes sense for buyers willing to approach the purchase like an engineer, not a lifestyle consumer. People who will run the inspection checklist, hire the independent inspector, ask the uncomfortable questions, and walk away from a van that doesn't pass, no matter how good it looks in photos. Now here's where most people watching this recognize themselves and don't like what they see. Van life does not make sense for people running towards something financially. If you're underwater in rent and think this is the exit ramp, it is not. You will be underwater in a depreciating asset with higher maintenance costs and no fixed address. It does not make sense for families with school-age children unless you have a tested homeschooling infrastructure and a partner who is fully aligned, not accommodating, aligned. The accommodation runs out usually around month 4. And it does not make sense for people buying the dream version of van life they've watched on YouTube. That version is curated, funded, and selectively edited. The reality is better in some ways and harder in most. Here's the bottom line. Van life isn't getting worse because of some external force outside your control. It's getting worse because it got popular enough to become a market, and markets don't optimize for your best outcome. They optimize for revenue extraction from people who haven't done the work. The buyers winning at van life right now are the ones that treated it as a logistics problem, not a lifestyle purchase. They bought the platform, not the build. They did the math before they made the move. They ignored the content designed to make them feel something and sought out the information designed to help them decide something. That distinction sounds small. It isn't. It's the difference between van life working and van life becoming the most expensive lesson you ever took on the road. Most people won't lose money because van life is bad. They'll lose money because they believed it was simple. Don't buy the dream, buy the vehicle that can actually support the life you're planning. Everything else is marketing. One question, and I want honest answers, not polite ones. Is van life still freedom in 2026, or just an expensive illusion? Drop your take below. Strong opinions only.